Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when everything seems to stand in your way, barriers too high to climb, doors that refuse to open, and voices that tell you it's impossible. You may have faced rejection, setbacks, and discouragement from people who doubted your potential. Maybe you've struggled with self-doubt, questioning whether the dreams placed in your heart were ever meant to become reality. Divine authority had already said yes, and when God says yes, that approval carries more weight than the opinions of the entire world. The power of that yes is greater than any rejection letter, any closed door, and any opposition you may face. Some of you have been holding on to a vision, waiting for the breakthrough that feels like it's never coming. You've prayed, worked, sacrificed, and yet the world keeps telling you no. But let me ask you, who is the ultimate authority in your life? The people who say you're not good enough, or the divine force that has already marked your path with favor? There is a truth you must embrace deep within your soul. When your purpose has been sealed with divine approval, no amount of resistance can overturn it. Human rejection does not equal divine rejection. In fact, sometimes rejection from others is a clear sign that you are being positioned for something greater. That closed door was never meant to be walked through because there is another one waiting, one that no human hands can shut. Think about all the times in your life when you thought you were being denied something, only to realize later that you were being redirected towards something better. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended, that opportunity that slipped through your fingers. At the time it felt like failure, but in reality it was preparation for the yes that was on its way. But here's the challenge. Will you trust the process, even when you don't understand it? Will you believe in the yes that has already been spoken over your life, even when the world keeps telling you no? There are those who will doubt you, not because you lack ability, but because they cannot see the vision that was placed in your heart. They were not given the same purpose, so they won't always understand why you keep pushing forward, despite the obstacles. But that's the beauty of divine approval. When your life is aligned with a higher plan, it doesn't require the validation of others. Some of you have been waiting for a sign, wondering if you should keep going or give up. You're questioning whether the dreams you've been chasing are truly meant for you. Let this be your confirmation. When God has said yes, no opposition can cancel that yes. The setbacks, the delays, the difficulties, they are not signs to quit. They are signs that you are being strengthened for what is to come. Think about the most extraordinary success stories in the world. Do you think they came without struggle, without moments of doubt, without times when the world said no? The difference between those who achieve great things and those who don't is not talent alone. It is the belief that what has been destined for them cannot be taken away. You see, when divine favor is on your life, even the things meant to harm you will end up serving your purpose. That betrayal, that failure, that loss, it may have looked like the end, but it was actually part of the setup. It was part of the greater plan to position you exactly where you need to be. But here's the truth that many people overlook. Just because you have divine approval doesn't mean the journey will be easy. Just because the answer is yes doesn't mean the process will be instant. There will still be challenges, and you will still need patience, faith, and determination. A promise does not eliminate preparation. If anything, it requires more of it. If a house is built on a weak foundation, it will crumble the moment the winds of adversity hit. But if it is built with strength, it will withstand anything. The difficulties you are facing right now are not signs that you are forgotten. They are proof that your foundation is being strengthened. You may have people in your life who try to convince you that your dreams are too big, that what you're striving for is unrealistic, that you should lower your expectations and accept what's in front of you. But do you really want to live your life based on the limits others have placed on themselves? Do you really want to shrink your potential just to make others feel comfortable? When God says yes, it is not up for debate. It is not subject to the opinions of others. It is not limited by statistics, background, or past mistakes. If you have been called to something greater, it is because you were meant to rise above the limitations that people try to place on you. Some of you have been hesitant, holding yourself back because of past failures. You've convinced yourself that because something didn't work before, it will never work. But let me remind you, when the timing is right, no mistake, no setback, no failure can stop what is meant for you. You may have experienced losses, but losses do not define your future. If you want to walk in the fullness of the yes that has been spoken over your life, you have to be willing to step forward in faith. You cannot let fear paralyze you. You cannot let past disappointments keep you stuck. You have to remind yourself daily that the doors meant for you will open at the right time. And when that yes comes, when the opportunity arrives, when the breakthrough happens, when the moment finally unfolds, you must be ready. You cannot afford to doubt yourself when the door swings open. You cannot allow fear to convince you that you are unworthy. The moment you have been preparing for will require courage, and you must be ready to step into it with confidence. Some of you are in a season of waiting, wondering when your yes will come. It may feel like you are stuck, like nothing is moving forward, but let me assure you, just because you don't see movement doesn't mean progress isn't happening. There are things being aligned behind the scenes that you cannot yet see, and when the time is right, what is meant for you will come to pass regardless of the obstacles. You must remind yourself that delays are not denials. A temporary roadblock is not the end of the journey. If you allow frustration to consume you, you may walk away. But even as you wait, the breakthrough don't happens. Just stand still. Prepare yourself and trust. Develop your skills. Build your character. Strengthen your mindset. Because when the yes arrives, you must be ready to handle the responsibility that comes with it. There is nothing more powerful than a person who refuses to be shaken by doubt, rejection, or adversity. A person who understands that divine approval is greater than human resistance. A person who knows that what is meant for them cannot be stolen, delayed, or diminished. So the next time someone tells you no, remember this. Their no does not override the yes that has already been spoken over your life. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep preparing. Because when God says yes, no one can say no. When God approves something in your life, no force on earth can overturn it. This is a reality that has played out time and time again, yet many people still struggle to believe it when they face resistance. The world is full of individuals who will try to tell you that you are not good enough, not qualified enough, or not deserving of what you are striving for. Some may even actively work against you, trying to block opportunities, discredit your achievements, or create obstacles in your path, but their opinions, actions, and opposition cannot override divine authority. Many people spend too much time worrying about what others think or what obstacles seem to be in their way. They allow the negative voices around them to plant seeds of doubt, making them second-guess their purpose. They begin to believe that because someone said no, that must be the final answer. But this is not how divine favor works. When something is meant for you, it is not up for debate. It is not determined by the approval of people. It is not dependent on how many supporters or critics you have. When a higher plan has been set in motion for your life, human resistance cannot cancel it. Some of the greatest success stories in history are proof of this. There are countless individuals who were told they would never amount to anything. They faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure, and yet their purpose still came to pass. Why? Because their destiny was not determined by those who doubted them. The world tried to say no, but a greater force had already said yes. There are times when the people closest to you will be the very ones who doubt you the most. It can be disheartening when family members, friends, or colleagues fail to believe in your potential. You may even find yourself questioning whether they are right. But just because they cannot see the vision for your life does not mean the vision is invalid. People can only understand what is within their own level of perception. If they have never seen something done before, they will naturally assume it cannot be done. If they have never experienced the kind of breakthrough you are working toward, they will assume it is impossible. But their lack of understanding does not mean you are wrong to believe in something greater. Some of the biggest dreams require the greatest amount of faith. When you are stepping into something new, something unfamiliar, you will encounter resistance. That resistance is not a sign that you should quit. It is often an indication that you are moving in the right direction. The world has a way of challenging those who are about to step into something significant. The greater the purpose, the greater the obstacles. But obstacles do not mean denial. In many cases, they are simply tests to see whether you are truly committed to the path set before you. It is important to understand that human opposition is often rooted in fear. People are afraid of what they do not understand. They are afraid of what challenges their expectations. They are afraid of anything that disrupts the status quo. When you start rising above limitations, you will notice that some people become uncomfortable. They may try to discourage you, not because they truly believe you are incapable, but because your success forces them to confront their own insecurities. They see you breaking through barriers, and it reminds them of all the times they settled for less. They see you moving forward, and it exposes the fact that they chose to stay where they were. If you spend too much time seeking approval, you will never step into the fullness of what is meant for you. If you allow doubt to creep in every time someone tells you no, you will never discover what happens when you push past resistance. The truth is, every major breakthrough in history was met with opposition before it became a reality. Every innovation, every movement, every extraordinary achievement was initially met with skepticism, but the people who changed the world did not stop just because someone said it couldn't be done. They understood that when a higher plan is at work, no amount of human resistance can stop it. Think about all the times you thought something was impossible, only to later realize that it was possible all along. The only thing standing in the way was doubt. How many opportunities have been missed because people gave up too soon? How many dreams have been abandoned because someone allowed rejection to convince them that they were not meant to succeed? The moment you understand that divine authority overrules human opposition, everything changes. You stop seeking permission from people who were never meant to determine your future. You stop being discouraged by temporary setbacks. You stop fearing rejection because you know that rejection from people you have been waiting for validation from the wrong places. Higher power. You have been hoping that certain people will believe in you before you take the next step, but their belief is not necessary for your success. Their approval is not a requirement for you to step into your calling. If you wait for everyone to understand and support your journey, you may be waiting forever. You have to move forward even when no one else sees the vision. You have to trust that when the answer is yes, nothing can stand in the way. It is easy to become discouraged when the road is difficult, but difficulty does not mean denial. Resistance does not mean rejection. Sometimes the very things that seem to be blocking you are actually positioning you for something greater. You may not see it in the moment, but when you look back, you will realize that every obstacle played a role in preparing you. Every setback built your resilience. Every challenge strengthened your character. Every delay taught you patience. And when the right moment arrives, you will step into what was meant for you with confidence, knowing that no opposition could have stopped it. There will always be people who try to tell you that you are not enough. There will always be obstacles that make you question whether you should continue. But at the end of the day, the most important question is this: do you believe in the yes that has already been spoken over your life? Because if you do, no amount of opposition can stop you. There are moments in life when everything seems impossible. The doors that should be open remain closed. The opportunities you desperately need never arrive. The things you have worked so hard for seem just out of reach. It is in these moments that doubt creeps in, whispering that perhaps it is time to give up, that maybe what you desire is simply not meant to be. But this is where faith becomes the most powerful force in your life, because when everything around you says no, faith has the power to turn that no into a yes. Faith is not just believing in something when things are easy. It is believing even when every logical reason tells you to stop. It is holding on to a vision when others tell you to be realistic. It is continuing to push forward even when there is no visible proof that success is near. Faith is the ability to see beyond the present moment, beyond the rejection, beyond the difficulties, and know that the answer has already been written in your favor. Many people struggle with faith because they have conditioned themselves to only trust what they can see. They look at the circumstances, and if things do not seem to be moving forward, they assume the answer is no. They measure their future by their current reality, forgetting that every great breakthrough in history once looked impossible. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not the ones who only move forward when everything is perfect. They are the ones who believe in the impossible before it becomes possible. There are countless examples of individuals who were told no over and over again, only to later succeed beyond imagination. What was the difference between them and those who gave up? It was not talent alone, nor was it luck. It was their ability to see beyond rejection, to trust in a greater yes, even when the world kept saying no. They understood that circumstances do not determine destiny, faith does. Faith is not blind optimism. It is not ignoring reality or pretending that struggles do not exist. Faith is the ability to acknowledge the obstacles yet refuse to be limited by them. It is understanding that just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will never happen. It is knowing that when something is meant for you, no amount of resistance can stop it from becoming yours. There will always be times when life tests your faith. You will experience seasons where it feels like nothing is working out. People will doubt you. Doors will remain closed longer than you expected. You will hear no more times than you can count. But this is the crucial moment where you must make a choice. Will you accept defeat, or will you hold on to faith and keep moving forward? The reason faith is so powerful is that it allows you to move with confidence even before you see results. It keeps you focused when others get discouraged. It allows you to continue working towards something even when there is no logical reason to believe it will happen. Faith is what separates those who wait for opportunities from those who create them. It is what allows people to step into places they were once told they would never reach. Most people never reach their full potential because they give up too soon. They allow temporary roadblocks to convince them that their journey is over. They assume that because something is difficult, it must not be meant for them. But difficulty is not a sign that you should stop. It is often proof that you are on the right path. Anything worth having will require perseverance, and those who achieve the greatest success are those who refuse to quit when things seem impossible. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in life happen right after moments of doubt, right after you consider giving up, right after you tell yourself that maybe it is not worth it anymore. This is because faith often requires you to reach a breaking point before the answer arrives. It tests your patience, your resilience, your belief. But if you can hold on just a little longer, you will find that what once seemed impossible was actually being prepared for you all along. Faith does not remove the challenges, but it changes the way you respond to them. It shifts your mindset from fear to confidence. It allows you to see obstacles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. It gives you the courage to keep trying even when nothing seems to be working. And most importantly, it unlocks doors that logic alone could never open. If you look at the most successful people in any field, you will notice one common trait. They believed in themselves long before anyone else did. They kept going when others stopped. They trusted that their hard work, their vision, and their determination would eventually pay off. And time again, their faith was rewarded. You must decide whether you will let circumstances dictate your future, or whether you will trust in the power of faith to take you where you need to go. If you choose faith, you will find that even the most impossible situations can turn around. The doors that once seemed permanently shut will begin to open. The opportunities that once felt unattainable will start appearing. The setbacks that once discouraged you will become the very things that prepared you for success. This is the power of faith. It takes what the world says is impossible and makes it possible. It turns rejection into redirection. It transforms failure into preparation. It reminds you that no matter how many no's you hear, the only answer that truly matters is the yes that has already been written for you. And when you believe in that yes, nothing can stand in your way. Life is filled with moments where you find yourself standing before a closed door, knocking with all your strength, only to be met with silence. You push, you wait, you pray, and yet nothing seems to change. The frustration grows, the doubt creeps in, and you begin to question whether the opportunity was ever meant for you in the first place. But what if the delay is not a denial? What if the reason the door has not opened yet is because the right moment has not arrived? Timing is everything, and when something is truly meant for you, it will come at the right time. No sooner, no later. Most people struggle with patience because they expect life to operate on their schedule. They set timelines for their success, expecting certain milestones to be reached by a certain age or under specific circumstances. When things do not go according to plan, they assume they have failed or that what they desire is out of reach. But just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will never happen. Some of the greatest things in life require time. There are moments when you may feel ready for something, but in reality there are lessons you still need to learn before stepping into that next chapter. The delay is not a punishment, it is a process. It is shaping you, strengthening you, and ensuring that when the right door does open, you will be fully prepared to walk through it. If you receive something too soon, before you have built the character, discipline, and wisdom required to handle it, it can become more of a burden than a blessing. History is full of people who rushed into opportunities before they were ready, only to watch everything fall apart because they lacked the foundation to sustain it. Talent alone is not enough. Passion alone is not enough. There is a level of maturity and preparedness that must be developed before certain doors can be opened. The waiting period is not wasted time. It is the time where you grow into the person who can handle the success that is coming. Impatience often leads people to settle for less than what is truly meant for them. They get tired of waiting, so they compromise. They accept a job they do not love because they are afraid a better one will never come. They enter relationships that are not fulfilling because they fear being alone. They abandon dreams that once filled them with excitement because they convince themselves that maybe they were aiming too high. But settling never leads to true fulfillment. What is meant for you will come, but only if you are willing to wait for the right time rather than forcing something to happen prematurely. It is easy to feel like you are falling behind when you see others around you succeeding. You watch people achieving things you have been working toward for years, and you wonder why it has not happened for you yet. But comparison is one of the greatest traps. Everyone has their own journey, their own timeline, and their own path. Just because someone else reaches a milestone before you does not mean you are failing. Timing is not about speed, it is about alignment. The right things happen at the right time for the right people. There are doors you have been knocking on that have remained closed because they are not meant for you, but there are also doors that have not yet opened because they are being prepared for you. The opportunity you have been waiting for may require things to shift before it can be fully realized. Sometimes the delay is not about you, it is about the right circumstances falling into place. There are unseen forces working behind the scenes, aligning events, preparing people, and setting the stage for your arrival. When the time is right, everything will fall into place in a way that no amount of force or effort could have accomplished on its own. You will look back and realize that the waiting period was necessary. The struggles, the setbacks, the disappointments, they were all part of the process. They shaped you into the person who was truly ready to receive what was meant for you. The key is to trust the timing, even when it does not make sense. To keep working, keep growing, keep believing, even when the wait feels endless. When something is meant for you, it cannot be taken away. It will arrive when the moment is right, and when it does, you will understand why it could not have come a moment sooner. Life has a way of presenting obstacles that seem insurmountable. The moment you set your sights on a goal, challenges appear from every direction. People doubt you, circumstances work against you, and at times, it feels like every step forward is met with resistance. In these moments, it is easy to wonder if the struggle is worth it. But the truth is, when something is meant for you, no force on earth can stop it. People may try to block your path, but their efforts will be in vain because what is truly meant for you will find its way into your life no matter what stands in the way. Many people give too much power to the obstacles in front of them. They assume that if something is difficult to achieve, it must not be meant for them. They allow rejection, failure, and opposition to convince them that their dreams are unrealistic. But difficulties do not determine destiny. Persistence does. No matter how many people try to prevent you from reaching your destination, no matter how many doors seem closed, no matter how many times you hear no, if something is truly meant for you, it will find a way. History is filled with individuals who faced overwhelming opposition yet still achieved greatness. They were told they were not good enough. They were rejected by those in power. They faced setbacks that would have broken most people. But instead of giving up, they kept going. They refused to accept defeat. They understood that no person, no system, no challenge could take away what was already meant to be theirs. Their belief in their destiny was stronger than any force trying to stop them. People may try to stand in your way out of jealousy, insecurity, or a desire to control your future. They may doubt your abilities, question your worth, or attempt to limit your opportunities. But their opinions do not have the power to define you. No one can block what has already been set in motion for your life. The more people try to hold you back, the greater the breakthrough will be when you finally step into what is rightfully yours. Obstacles are not signs that you should quit. They are tests of your determination. When people oppose you, it is often because they see something in you that they cannot control. They recognize your potential, and instead of supporting it, they try to suppress it. But no matter how hard they try, they cannot take away what is destined to be yours. The only person who can stop you from reaching your full potential is you. There will be moments when you feel like the entire world is against you. You will face situations that seem impossible to overcome. But remember this: what is meant for you will come no matter how long it takes or how many challenges arise. When something is truly yours, it will break through barriers, it will defy expectations, and it will arrive in your life at the perfect moment. The greatest victories often come after the hardest battles. The more resistance you face, the greater the reward will be when you finally succeed. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt is preparing you for the moment when everything falls into place. And when it does, you will understand that nothing and no one could have stopped it from happening. Do not waste your energy worrying about those who try to stand in your way. Do not allow their negativity to discourage you. Do not let their doubts become your doubts. Focus on your path. Keep pushing forward and trust that what is meant for you cannot be taken away. No person, no obstacle, no rejection can override what has already been written for you. When the time is right, the opportunities that were once blocked will open. The people who doubted you will be left speechless. The struggles you endured will make the victory even sweeter. What is meant for you will always find you, and when it does, no force on earth will be able to stop it. Life often places people in situations where they feel powerless, as if they have no control over their own destiny. They look at their past, their circumstances, and the obstacles ahead, and they assume that they are stuck. They believe that their limitations define them, that their failures have written the final chapter of their story. But no matter how broken, lost, or defeated someone may feel, nothing is permanent. Situations change, opportunities arise, and doors open when the time is right. No matter how hopeless things seem, nothing and no one can permanently hold someone back from what is truly meant for them. People often become trapped in their own doubts, allowing fear to dictate their choices. They convince themselves that they are not good enough, that they have made too many mistakes, that they have missed their chance. But these are illusions. Life is filled with second chances, unexpected breakthroughs, and new beginnings. The key is to refuse to accept defeat as final. No setback is permanent unless a person decides to stop moving forward. The moment they choose to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep striving, they begin to break free from the limitations they once thought were unshakable. Many times what appears to be a dead end is simply a detour. A rejection is not the end of the road. It is redirection towards something better. A failure is not a sign of unworthiness. It is preparation for future success. Those who understand this do not dwell on the past or allow disappointment to define them. They recognize that no matter how many times they fall, they still have the power to rise again. The greatest success stories are filled with people who were counted out, underestimated, and overlooked, yet they refuse to let that define their future. External circumstances can create obstacles, but they do not have the final say. A person who is determined to succeed will always find a way. No financial struggle, no past mistake, no lack of support can stop someone who refuses to give up. The only real limitation is the belief that something is impossible. The moment someone decides that they are capable, that they are worthy, that they are strong enough to keep going, everything begins to change. The doors that seemed closed forever start to open. The opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly appear. The path forward becomes clearer, not because the circumstances changed, but because the mindset changed. There are people who spend years waiting for permission to pursue their dreams, waiting for someone to validate their worth, waiting for the perfect moment to act. But waiting does not create progress. The only way to move forward is to take action, even when things are uncertain. No one needs permission to step into their destiny. No one needs approval to chase after what is truly meant for them. The power to succeed is already within them. They only need to believe in it enough to take the first step. Even when others try to hold someone back, their influence is limited. They may doubt, they may criticize, they may even actively work against someone's success, but they do not have the final say. No one has the authority to decide someone else's future. No one can permanently block the path of someone who is determined to keep moving forward. Those who rise above limitations understand that outside opinions are just noise. They focus on their vision, on their potential, and on the belief that nothing can stand in the way of what is truly meant for them. There will always be moments of uncertainty, moments where the path is unclear, where it feels like everything is working against progress. But in those moments, it is crucial to remember that nothing stays the same forever. Situations shift, opportunities arise, and new paths appear, often in the most unexpected ways. The key is to stay prepared, to stay focused, and to never lose sight of the fact that even when things seem impossible, change is always just around the corner. No one is stuck unless they choose to be. No past mistake, no current struggle, no rejection can define the future unless it is allowed to. The doors that are meant to open will open. The opportunities that are meant to come will come. And nothing can permanently stop the person who refuses to quit. The only thing that can hold someone back is the belief that they are not capable of moving forward. But the truth is, they are. They always have been, they always will be. One of the most powerful truths in life is that when the right moment comes, nothing can stand in the way of what is meant for you. There are seasons of struggle, seasons of waiting, and seasons where it feels like nothing is changing. You push, you strive, you do everything in your power, yet the breakthrough remains just out of reach. But when the appointed time arrives, everything aligns in ways that no amount of effort, force, or strategy could have orchestrated on its own. The doors that once seemed permanently closed swing open effortlessly. The barriers that held you back crumble without warning. The opportunities that seemed impossible suddenly become reality. Timing is not something that can be controlled, no matter how much you plan, prepare, or strategize. There are moments in life where no matter how hard you try, things simply will not move forward. You may do everything right, yet the results do not come. It is easy to feel frustrated, to question whether you are on the right path, or to wonder if you should give up entirely. But what may seem like stagnation is often preparation. The waiting period is not wasted time. It is the time where unseen forces are aligning everything perfectly so that when the moment arrives, success is inevitable. There are countless stories of people who worked tirelessly toward a goal, only to find doors shut at every turn. They faced rejection, failure, and disappointment, but then, when the right time came, everything changed overnight. The same people who once doubted them suddenly recognized their value. The same doors that had been locked for years suddenly opened without resistance. The opportunities that once seemed impossible were now within reach. This is not luck. This is the power of the right moment, when everything aligns exactly as it was meant to. Many people waste time trying to force things to happen before their time. They grow impatient, desperate for results, unwilling to wait for the process to unfold naturally. They try to manipulate situations, push past barriers prematurely, or settle for less just to feel like they are making progress. But anything that is forced rarely lasts. True success comes when things fall into place effortlessly, without manipulation or compromise. When the right moment arrives, you will not have to beg for opportunities, convince people of your worth, or fight against resistance. Things will move forward naturally because they were meant to. It is easy to feel envious of others who seem to achieve success faster. You look around and see people getting the opportunities you have been waiting for, reaching milestones you have been striving toward, and living the life you dream of. But comparison is one of the biggest traps. Just because someone else's moment has arrived does not mean yours will not. Everyone has their own timing, their own path, and their own journey. The worst mistake is to rush into something just because you feel like you are behind. You're not late, you are exactly where you need to be. There will come a day when everything you have been waiting for will arrive without struggle. The connections, the resources, the breakthroughs, everything will come together seamlessly. And when it does, you will understand why it could not have happened any sooner. You will look back and realize that the delays, the struggles, and the waiting were all necessary. They shaped you, prepared you, and ensured that when the moment arrived, you were truly ready. People often fear that they have missed their chance, that an opportunity has passed them by, that they are too late. But what is meant for you will never miss you. It may take longer than expected, it may not come in the way you imagined, but it will come. Nothing can stop it, no matter how impossible it seems. The right moment will arrive, and when it does, it will happen in a way that leaves no doubt that it was always meant to be. There is no need to chase, to force, or to stress over things that are beyond your control. Focus on being prepared, on growing, on becoming the best version of yourself. When the time is right, everything will align perfectly, and what was once a struggle will become effortless. You will not have to fight for what is already yours. It will come, and when it does, nothing will be able to stand in its way.